Happy holidays, everyone, from festive Philadelphia, all dressed up and ready for the NBA on TNT tonight. Presented by the United States Marine Corps. The best team right now, record-wise, in the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics, taking on the Philadelphia 76ers. Moments ago, our former colleagues here at TNT, the Sixers head coach Doug Collins and Celtics head coach Doc Rivers with greetings. A lot of respect between those two. Let's take a look at our starting lineups tonight. You've had a chance to look. There will be no Shaquille O'Neal. He will not play. The Celtics played just last night. Who are you going to watch with particular interest?
Well, the two guys that are going to be controlling the action, the 2 point guards. One is becoming a household name, and Rajon Rondo leads the league in assists at 14, fourth in steals, and an up-and-coming young point guard, and Drew Holiday, a great on-the-ball defender.
Ray Allen is coming off a 28-point performance last night in the Boston win over the Denver Nuggets. And there you take a look at the 35-year-old sharpshooter. Now, it's always difficult, regardless if you're 25 or 35, the second of a back-to-back. When you played at an older age, how would you get ready for games like this against a team that you know in Philadelphia that's going to run like crazy?
Well, I'm sure Ray doesn't shoot as many shots on that second game of a back-to-back. You don't want to exert too much energy, especially speaking with Doc Rivers. He wants to cut his minutes down. He believes Ray's playing too many minutes, so that's going to be an early sign for Doc Rivers if he subs early with Von Wafer for Ray Allen.
With the ball, Jody Meeks, who gets it off to Drew Holiday out of UCLA. Nice pass inside, looking for Hawes. Garnett was there. Here comes Allen. So defense right off the bat by Boston.
Well, that's one thing that's been a staple for the Celtics, is being able to control the paint area.
And Semi Erdan inside from Turkey, the rookie, who's taking the place of Shaq. And of course, there is no Jermaine O'Neal. He's got a bad knee, hasn't played in a long time. So Erdan gets the start tonight for Boston. Elton Brand. And the former NBA Defensive Player of the Year, Garnett, is on him. The drive by Iguodala inside to Hawes. Hawes coming off the double-double.
Well, I like the aggressive nature already of Andre Iguodala attacking the rim, attacking Pierce, getting Hawes an easy jump shot.
Rondo has been battling a hamstring issue. Started last night, starts again tonight. There's a turnover, and Paul Pierce coughs it up. And they're looking at the aggressiveness of Iguodala on the offensive end.
And this is something that's been somewhat lacking early on in the season for Andre, is attacking the rim, but good job there of putting pressure on the Celtics defense.
And we just missed it right there. He took it inside real quick, trying to force the issue, trying to test that Boston defense in, and foul goes on Paul Pierce for the first time. So here is Iguodala, who has been a NBA-long 76er, and a guy that, is really at 26 years of age, the leader of this ball club. And as we all know, when the leader buys into what the new coach has to say, everybody buys in.
Well, he has to be leader, especially coming off his experience this past summer of winning a gold medal at the World Championships in Turkey. This is a guy that, you look at his scoring numbers, have dropped over recent years, but when the game is on the line, Coach Collins told us he puts the ball in his hands. Now, Dre has to make the decisions and make the plays. With a young team, it's slow to develop, but they're starting to buy into the system.
Iguodala averages about 14 points a game, second leading scorer. Rondo kicks it back outside. Garnett, 17 points last night against Denver. Rebound aggressively inside by Elton Brand.
Sixers want to run, especially on these makes. Put pressure on the defense.
Drew Holiday. He puts it in. Another nice young player for Doug Collins.
Well, you look at this NBA league at a whole, at the point guard position, every night you're going to have your hands full. And a lot of people haven't seen Drew Holiday play, but he's going to be a fantastic point guard when it's all said and done.
Screen by Garnett. They switch on defense. And he throws it away. So we've seen 2 consecutive turnovers by Boston as the 76ers are on a 6-0 run.
Yeah, and KG saying, my bad. He was trying to throw the pass down to Erdan, which he should have took the 18-foot jump shot.
As we said, 8 consecutive wins for the Boston Celtics. 3 straight wins on the road. Spencer Hawes, drafted by Sacramento, now is Sixer. Holiday. Erdan knocks it away. Trying to go at that inside defense of the Celtics, and a foul called on the Boston Celtics. Erdan was in there, and we're going to see more Sixer free throws. Erdan picks up number 1. Let's go now to your keys tonight, Reggie, between Boston and Philadelphia.
Well, usually this is called Miller's must, but since we're doing Doug Collins and he's back with his Collins keys, it's all about the Philadelphia 76ers tonight, and they've got to get off to a quick start. Already 6-2. This is a very young and athletic team. They're third in fast breaks, but also the Boston Celtics are number one in opponents' fast breaks, so something has to give. And tonight, the Sixers big, even without Shaq, are going to have to be able to control the bigs of the Boston Celtics, Kevin Garnett, Irden, and Big Baby when he comes off the bench.
Sixers coming off their most complete win of the season. They beat on Tuesday the Cleveland Cavaliers here, 117-97. Across the lane. Moved by Pierce. Sixer foul inside. Looks like Brand got in there pretty quick with 9:44 to play. Foul goes on Hawes for the first time.
Quick move here by Paul Pierce, getting into the interior defense of the Sixers. And looked like Hawes was just a little bit late rotating over. Got him with the body down low. The block was good up top.
It's interesting reading about the Celtics coming into this game. There was a lot of talk about Garnett, a lot of talk about Rondo, much written about Ray Allen, not a lot about Paul Pierce, the third all-time leading Celtics scorer.
Well, you know, Doc has done a fabulous job of really defining the roles for this very experienced ball club. And Paul Pierce is their closer. And it doesn't matter if he's having a bad shooting night. If the game is on the line, the ball's going to be in Paul Pierce's hands.
Here's Elton Brand. A series of moves. Pierce and Allen. Inside, and he was whacked pretty hard in there by Drew Holiday. And the foul goes on Holiday, who picks up his first personal foul. So Ordana's in there, as we said before, taking the place of Shaq. Here was a kid that was kind of just brought to camp. I mean, they liked him, but they were thinking that Jermaine O'Neal and Shaquille O'Neal would be there. But I guess maybe in the back of their minds, they knew with the age of those two guys, with some of the injury issues, that this Ordan would be seeing some time.
Well, not only would he be able to see some time, but he was going to be able to learn under some of these great players, as both O'Neals and Kendrick Perkins, who's out probably until past the All-Star break with the knee injury. But you know, because of the injuries to both O'Neals, I think Doc has done a fabulous job of utilizing his bench and bringing this guy along. And he has good hands. He has pretty good touch. And he takes up space and blocks shots.
Then the last 5 years, he's played pro ball in Turkey, played on their national team. Now he's a Celtic. He doesn't speak a great deal of English, but they've been able to communicate.
Well, it's pretty simple. Put your hands up, rebound, run the middle of the floor.
How about the crossover by Holiday? And then the defense on the first Philadelphia turnover. Garnett drops it. Rondo the other way. Iguodala got a hand on it. Now they come the other way. This is what they want to do. Get the stops and then run, and Meeks will tee up a three. Hasn't he been a nice story, this Jody Meeks out of Kentucky for Philadelphia?
Well, what did Doug Collins say? He's our only real shooting guard on this team. He runs the floor in transition, spots up, and can knock down long-range shots. And that opens it up for Andre Iguodala to get into the paint, as well as post position for Elton Brand.
Screen and pop right there between Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. So Garnett has started 1 of 2. And here comes Iguodala. As you can see, not a great deal of size on this Philadelphia team.
That's why they got to run as much as they can in transition, because they're not big.
Iguodala into Pierce. Again, Garnett got a hand on it. Brand trying to clean things up and down.
Quite sure that Andre wasn't fouled going to the hole, but how about Elton Brand having a great bounce-back season, leads this team in scoring.
All the Sixers starters have scored. Rondo from outside, and of course they concede that shot. And when his shot is on, it becomes a very nice weapon for Boston.
Well, that's when he's unguardable, when he can knock down that mid-range shot when teams play off of him.
Holiday for a three. And with an offensive rebound. Once again a triple. He was the National High School Player of the Year. Was Drew Holiday.
And he's just really learning to play the point guard position. His senior year in high school, that's when he made the transition to point. But when he went over to UCLA, they already had a point guard in Darren Collison, so he had to play off the ball a lot.
Sixers right now, their biggest lead tonight. And Garnett, free to fire. And Garnett kind of gives them whatever they need. If they need scoring, he'll score. If they need the defense, he applies his defensive pressure.
Well, you know, at that 7-foot frame, being able to stretch the floor with that with his outside shot.
Holiday got the matchup he wanted, working on Arden. who was leaning in there. Garnett, with the knee years ago, he looks fresher and much better.
Well, it's really his off-season workout regimen that's really propelled him this season. You know, I've had a chance to work out with him. He gets up at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, runs the beaches of Malibu, and then he goes home, gets something to eat, then he goes back to the gym for an hour to get some weight training done, goes back home, has a long lunch, and then goes back to the gym in the evening to get his basketball work in. So it just lets you know it doesn't matter how old you are, when you put the time and the effort in. This is a first ballot Hall of Famer that's getting up at 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning just to run the beach.
Well, look at this, in 21 games, he's already got 10 double-doubles. He had 10 double-doubles all of last season. It just shows you he's got a lot more energy.
Spring. He has a spring to his step. He's healthy. He feels that he hasn't been at his best because of the injuries, and I think it's showing.
Dan picked up his second foul. That brings Glenn Davis in the game for the first time for the Boston Celtics. Brand, 12-year veteran, against Kevin Garnett. And a little foul there as Elton was reaching in. 6:31 to play here in the first quarter. Get enhanced coverage of tonight's game on TNT Overtime Extra, presented by Marines on NBA.com. You can vote for which player you'd like to follow during the game. You can watch 4 isolated camera shots, including 2 player isos. And you can check out TNT Overtime Extra on NBA.com. With Garnett at the line, Iguodala picks up his first foul for Philadelphia.
Well, I like what Doc is doing. He knocks down 2 mid-range jump shots, Kevin Garnett, and then you drill him right to the post against the smaller Elton Brand. Let him use that 7-foot frame so he can shoot over him or get fouled, as he just did and went to the free throw line and knocked 2 down.
Here's Brand. Finding Iguodala. Smothered by green jerseys. Yep, little 3-second violation here in Philadelphia.
Haas has to take that shot. I think Andre did a good job of getting 3 Celtics jersey around him. As soon as he passed the ball to Haas, you've got to knock down that free throw line jump shot.
You can see the turnovers, what happens when they win and when they lose. This is a team that cannot afford the turnover. What team can? Here comes Rondo. Little floater inside.
This is when they can't turn the basketball over. Their offense isn't as efficient.
Nice play. Going the other way. Hawes that time running, rewarding the big man. We've got one of the great fast break offenses in the league against a very good fast break defense in Boston.
You got to run down the middle of the floor if you're Hawes.
Davis continues to put up wonderful numbers this season. Seems like the longer he's in this system, the better he's getting on the offensive end.
Well, this is going to be a tough matchup for Spencer Hawes, trying to guard Glenn Davis. He's very active at both ends of the floor.
Hawes, I would think that the bigs tonight for Philadelphia, whoever they may be, have got to hit that mid-range shot.
Well, that was one of the things that Coach Collins talked about, because the Celtics defense is so good. As Rondo, that nice behind-the-back fake spin move. The bigs for Philadelphia are going to have to knock down that wide-open 15-footer.
Iguodala launching the 3. Good offensive rebound for a second time by Brand. Oh! Flight 9 is cleared for landing. Not blocked down, and Iguodala slams it in. What a play.
That's how you attack the offensive glass.
Good feed inside. They were looking for Davis and Rondo. What about this? My goodness.
Well, first you had Elton Brand keeping the ball alive, and then out of nowhere, here comes Andre Iguodala with the nice finish. Sixers up by 4.
That was
3-19. The Boston Celtics are the first team in NBA history with 4 active players with at least 20,000 career points. Shaquille O'Neal, Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce. What makes it work is unselfishness. Doc Rivers uses an African tribal saying, Ubuntu, I'm only as strong as those around me. With the Celtics, it's all about winning. The individual accomplishments are already there for 4 players destined for the Hall of Fame. Just like another 20,000-point scorer, Reggie Miller. Who's with you, Kevin?
Good stuff, Craig. Thank you. Garnett can't hit. Thaddeus Young is checked in for the 76ers. Boston had hit 6 consecutive shots until that miss. And here comes Holiday with Hawes. Iguodala coming off a screen. Young is out there. And here is Jody Meeks. Into Young, knocked away. Garnett along with Big Baby in there, rejecting it.
Celtics do such a great job of protecting the rim. You think you've got an easy lay-in shot right there, and whether it's Glenn Davis or Kevin Garnett.
The best defensive teams in the NBA. Here is a nice twirling shot over Meeks by Paul Pierce, who has started 1 of 1. He got a couple at the line as well. Young. Oh, they love when he drives.
As Collins talked about that three-point line, he wants to treat it like it's one of those electric fences that you put in the yard for your dogs. It shocks you anytime you're behind it. I want you driving the basketball.
Good move inside by Davis to find his second basket tonight, so he's got 4 points in 4 minutes. Yeah, Young the other night was terrific. He has been the 3rd leading scorer for the 76ers, even though he comes off the bench for Philadelphia.
He's one of those guys that he's always going to have a mismatch. He's taller than most small forwards and quicker than most power forwards.
Garnett defending Young. Hawes with the hustle. And Davis comes up with it. Rondo, in addition to having the hamstring issue, still battles the chronic foot issue. Garnett taps it in, so Kevin is playing very well on both ends of the floor. He's got 8 points in 9 minutes. Couple block shots for the Celtics tonight. As you see the shooting so far in the game. Philly the other night against Cleveland shot 51% in the win. Hawes out of the University of Washington, where he played a single season for Renzo Romar.
Hawes can't fade away against Glenn Davis.
Davis again. Look at him. We know he's got that outside because he spreads the floor so well, but boy, nice hands inside.
Great hands, but you see how he threw his body into the defenders right there? And make sure even if the whistle would have went off, he would have had the and one.
Holiday, boy, there's a nice block inside. As Holiday got the feed in. Big Baby has been a story since coming off the bench. He's got 6 points.
Good hands, good body control, gets into the body of Hawes for the 2.
Group because they want to win, and I think the winning is what allows us to be able to preach the ball movement and the playing together and just the commitment to the team, because they all have the same goal. And I think because of that, it's easier to teach, but we demand it.
Well, this is a team that leads the league in field goal percentage at 51%. Tonight they're shooting 73%, and they also show their unselfish play by leading the league in assists for a team at almost 26. So Doc Rivers understands that, yes, I've got aging Hall of Famers on my team, but winning championship trumps everything.
Marquise Daniels along with Nate Robinson now checking in as you take a look at Ray Allen and Garnett there on the sideline. A couple changes for Boston. Boston was on a 6-0 run until that free throw, and no changes for the Philadelphia 76ers. Young has been their only substitution so far. Boston shooting 73% from the floor. Rondo, the top assist man in the NBA with 3. Trying to dish an uncharacteristic turnover again for the Celtics. 3 early ones right here. By the way, you were talking about fast break points earlier on. Philadelphia already +4 in that category over the Celtics, the number you want to keep track of.
It's something that the Sixers have the one advantage over the Boston Celtics is their transition game.
Young with the drive inside. 26 the other night, he looked real good.
Well, note to Glenn Davis, you're going to have to remember Thaddeus Young is left-handed and likes to go left. So you're going to have to force him to his offhand.
26 points and 11 rebounds for Young coming off the bench. Rondo and Holiday. Shot clock at 8. That mid-range game is such an effective one for Davis, and they get a fresh 24-second shot clock with another offensive rebound for the Boston Celtics. This little screen. Grabs the top.
Short-armed it. Plus the long arms of Spencer Hawes help.
Good lead, what a pass! And the tomahawk on the fly for Young. And 6 points off the bench for Young. The Sixers by 3.
It's high-octane transition game here for the Philadelphia 76ers. Celtics going to have to do a better job of getting back on the defensive end.
There's another pick and roll. And the things Doug Collins was talking about in defending these pick and rolls. You watch Holiday's beautiful feed here, right in stride for Thaddeus Young.
Thaddeus Young off the bench already with 6 points, 3 of 5, but late whistle at this other end. Philadelphia had already secured the rebound where official Leon Wood called that late blocking foul.
Young picks up the foul. Doug was talking about the defense of Philadelphia. He said, you know, our big guys have got to work in tandem with one another, and there's got to be a lot of communication with the guards. And so we see a team like Boston, we pick and roll all the time. And if you have that secondary defender back there, it certainly can spoil a nice pick and roll.
When you're playing the Boston Celtics, communication is huge because there's so many pick and rolls, whether they're coming from block to block or up high. If your bigs don't communicate, it's going to put your guard in jeopardy of getting injured, but it helps in the rotation for the Philadelphia 76ers. So with a young team, that's one of the things that's always missing is that communication. And that's one thing that Doug Collins has done a fantastic job of coming here and instilling and teaching with his young ball club.
Von Wafer's just checked in for Rajon Rondo. No fouls to give either way. Holiday working on Nate Robinson. Nice offensive rebound by Harms.
Fifth offensive rebound here for Philadelphia 76ers in this first period.
2 for Boston. They got a 7-second difference, game clock and shot clock. Winding down the first quarter. We've just seen the Sixers shoot 52%. Boston shoot 65%. Point blank with good offensive rebound. Hawes is right there. That's 6 offensive rebounds for the team and 9 points for Spencer Hawes. Final seconds. Pierce. They switch on defense. Over Holiday. And the Philadelphia 76ers, winners of 5 straight at home, Reggie, on top at the end of one, 32-29.
Doug Collins has to be happy with this start. 32 first quarter points for the Sixers.
The Boston Celtics have just given up the most points of any quarter this season, 32 to the 7-14 76ers. Moments ago, our Craig Sager caught up with Doc Rivers, the head coach of Boston.
Well, Doc, it's only a 3-point game, but one area that you're the best in the league in is not giving up fast break points, a little over 9 a game. They have 9 already. What's going on?
They're outrunning us. They're playing harder, and also offensive rebounds. One of the things we would like them to do is play against our half-court defense, but we haven't had the opportunity to do that. So we can correct it. We just got to do it.
They're running not only on turnovers, you only have 2, but all the time. How do you stop that?
Well, that's what they do, and we know that. So we just got to get back. Everybody's got to load to the ball, get back, and take away the driving lanes.
All right, thanks a lot. Back to you, Kevin.
So we begin this second quarter. Lou Williams has come out for the first time for the Philadelphia 76ers. Holiday, Young, Iguodala remains, and Brand. That's the 76er 5. There's a foul thrown right there on Von Wafer. We know he can shoot. You know, Doug Collins always talks about first quarters, the importance of first quarters, and he's gotten a nice one from his team tonight.
When you look at their stats, first quarter normally on the season, they get 26 points. Tonight, 32. They shoot 50%. They shot 52%, and they're always a +8 in point differential as Elton Brand gets one to go. So quick starts has always been a staple for Coach Collins throughout his coaching stops.
Brand, 2 of 4. Rondo and Daniels. Davis, Nate Robinson. And in the corner, Von Wafer knocks down that shot. Last we saw him in the NBA was with Houston when he and Rick Adelman got in a little tiff. He was away for a couple of years. Now he's back here in Boston.
Well, he can stretch the floor with his three-point shooting. And Doc Rivers already said he's going to try to rest Ray Allen, playing too many minutes. Von Wafer, especially with Delonte West being out with that right wrist injury. Chance for him to get some minutes and try to play well and get into the rotation.
Davis with his 4th rebound. A 3 by Nate Robinson. And picked up by Iguodala.
Not quite sure Doc wanted that shot from Robinson.
But with the second unit, more of the scoring goes on Robinson. Another offensive rebound. 7 right now for the 76ers, which keeps the ball alive, keeps it in their hands. Marquise Daniels will pick up his first personal foul as Evan Turner, Big Ten Player of the Year, the College Basketball Player of the Year a season ago at Ohio State, is in for the first time for Philadelphia.
Overall #2 pick here for the Philadelphia 76ers, and hasn't gotten off to a great start, but you know, Coach Collins raves about what he does for his basketball club.
Rejected by Davis. Turnover, Boston. Young to the rack. That is an offensive foul.
And that's number 27 on the year for Glenn Davis.
#1 in the NBA.
#1 in the NBA in taking charges. And there, Thaddeus Young goes up, and both feet are outside the restricted circle there, and that's taking a charge right in the chest, as Glenn Davis does. Good call.
I'd love to see the college game implement that, because I think it's been a terrific addition to the NBA.
I'm sure if you write your local congressman, you can get that done.
Maybe we'll get that. Young picked up his second personal foul. Robinson, who, like we said before, when he plays with the first unit, doesn't feel the load to score. Even with Rondo out there, I think he feels a little bit more responsibility. Now he's playing the 2 guard in this particular set with Rondo at the point.
Well, he's a shooting guard.
Yep. Rondo. Davis was in there trying to get leverage and using those big elbows to do so. Picks up his first foul of the game.
Well, Turner doing a good job of using his small frame going against Glenn Davis there. Already 3 team fouls for the Boston Celtics. And that's something Coach Collins, he always wanted his teams to get to the bonus each quarter first. And especially with a young team, it's always tough because you can always rely on jump shots.
And Davis right there. He picks up #2, his second quick one. Look at Davis. He's battled a cold. He had a fever, as a matter of fact, last couple days, and didn't practice earlier this week with this team. One of many players who didn't practice. This Boston team has all kinds of injuries they're dealing with right now. Young, Brand. Another Boston foul. And this is falling right to what you just said about what Doug wants in terms of fouls on the opposing team.
Well, now you have bonus for 9 minutes left in this second period, and you look out who's on the floor for the 76ers. You got Lou Williams and Evan Turner. Now this gives Evan Turner a chance to handle the basketball. He's been a player at Ohio State who always had the ball in his hands. Well, now that you've come to this young 76ers team, he's going to have to learn to play off the basketball. So what has Coach Collins done? Inserted him into the second unit to allow him to handle the basketball, where Lou Williams can be more of that scorer and go-to guy in the second unit.
Look at the age of these kids as Davis picked up his third foul in 31 seconds. Garnett will have to come back in, but this is a group which obviously can ascend, and I think they've got the right coach to take them that way.
Well, the learning curve is on its way up, as Coach Collins at the helm. And they've got great infrastructure here, and it starts at the top. I think owner Ed Steiner is fantastic. He trusts Coach Collins. And then you've got the president and Rod Thorne. You've got general manager Ed Stefanski, who Coach Collins and them go way back. So you've got a lot of basketball experience between all 4 men.
Rondo right to the rack. Meeks didn't even want to reach in right there. Here comes Evan Turner, who always played with the ball in his hand at Ohio State. He has trouble right there with Wafer. Ball was kicked. Philadelphia's ball.
Well, you're wondering who has to help here for the 76ers. This can't happen. Right here, Elton Brand has to scoot on over, and Evan Turner has to show and get back to his player. But right there, I mean, that's just too easy. If you're Doc Rivers, you're saying we're going to run high pick and roll all night if he can get to the rim that easy.
Celtics tied for the second best record in the NBA coming into tonight. Second hottest team, 8 consecutive wins. Here comes Young for the Sixers. Another offensive rebound. Another Boston foul inside. 8:55 to play. Sixers have led by as many as 6, up now by 2 on TNT. Then Boston thus getting +7 in second chance points. A look at the national TV schedule. Tomorrow, Lakers in Chicago, Miami at Golden State. Miami team is seemingly since a week ago tonight when they took on Cleveland and completely whipped the Cavs. And, you know, you talk about specific games, right, Reggie, that might kind of spin a season around. That game is kind of having that feel, especially for LeBron.
I think they're starting to feel one another and have that comfortable level of playing with one another, especially Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. And how about last night, the buzzer beater Derek Fisher against the Clippers.
So far, Boston's got 6 fouls in this second quarter. Young just hitting those 2 free throws. Good looking 3 outside by Robinson. We know that Philadelphia is a good team defending the 3-point shot.
Well, they're long and athletic. Something they weren't last year. They were dead last guarding the 3-point line, 6th this season.
2 threes hit by the Celtics. That's the 3rd 3 hit by the Philadelphia 76ers. Lou Williams comes in and pops one in. His first basket tonight.
And what did Coach Collins say? Instant offense coming off the bench. And he's at his natural position at that shooting guard position with his second unit.
Here's Garnett, whose stroke is on tonight. Kevin has played 11 minutes, 4 of 6. He's got 10 points, the first player in double figures tonight. Evan Turner. Rafer was defending. Looked up by Rondo.
Yeah, there's 2 things that Evan Turner is going to have to work on this summer. Playing without the basketball and working on his mid-range shot. But he has all the skills. He has the height, he has the vision, he can rebound, he defends. But just little minor tweaks and, you know, he'll be fine.
Von Wafer will take a seat over on the Doc Rivers bench, and checking back in is Ray Allen. Allen, Rondo, Daniels, Robinson, and Garnett. The Boston 5. You see Elton Brand, who, to me, you know, we talk about Garnett. You know, of course, physically, Garnett is so much better this year than last. Emotionally, it looks like Brand is really buying into what has happened, the change here in Philadelphia. And he looks very engaged this season.
Coming off the injuries, you know, the torn Achilles and so forth. And I think this is a breath of fresh air, being around all these young guys. He remembers when he was 20, 22, 23, being the man. And, you know, he can be a tutor and mentor to these younger players.
Young grabs the miss by Garnett. So far, the 76ers plus 8 in rebounding tonight over Boston. Williams, into Thaddeus Young. Good pass by Lou Williams inside.
Thaddeus Young looks so comfortable with this second unit, understanding where his gaps and avenues are to score the basketball for this Philadelphia team.
Look at the defense into Garnett, which forces the travel. The turnover by Boston, their 4th turnover tonight.
Well, nice high pick and roll, double high pick and roll, Lou Williams, and he sees that the 2 Celtic players go down right here. Someone has to be open. Just throw it near the rim and let Thaddeus Young finish.
Sixers coming in, as we mentioned before, 5 consecutive home wins. Turnover by Lou Williams. They've got 4 turnovers now. Robinson, Allen glides in for the Boston Celtics. Another 2-point game. You take a look at the points off turnovers. Brand into Garnett. Marquise Daniels picks it up. Not this time last year. The Marquise hurt that wrist and was out. Good double on Kevin. Finds Robinson. 3-second violation inside on the Celtics.
Well, there's 3 guys that should have shot the basketball. Nate Robinson, Marquise Daniels, and Rondo. All had opportunities to shoot the basketball.
Celtics come in with the best record in the Eastern Conference at 17-4. Tonight taking on the Philadelphia 76ers on TNT.
Poise, defensive stop, rebound, we want to run. Let's make the simple play.
Come on, guys. They're just outrunning you right now, outworking you. Let's go. Come on. It's all us.
Keep moving that ball, guys. Keep moving the ball. Come on now.
Philadelphia wants to run, move that ball side to side. How can Boston be shooting 59% and be down by 2? Here is Meeks. He takes it inside. Garnett to Pierce. Pierce to Allen. And Evan Turner trying to defend the 35-year-old Allen. Reaching in the rookie out of Chicago. Turner picks up his first. So here we've got a look at the easy points. Doug used to talk about that all the time when he was in your chair.
Well, you talked about the Celtics shooting 59%, and how are they down? I think Doc Rivers, pretty much in that clip right there, said it all. They're out hustling us. And fast break points, the Sixers are a +4 in second chance points. They are a +9 because of the offensive rebounding by the Philadelphia 76ers.
What about this, too? Boston allows only 10 fast break points a game, 9 already tonight by the Sixers. So we're talking about a team that has got it pretty simplified. As Doug was talking, let's keep it simple. Run the ball, move it side to side.
We showed the ages of half his roster in their 20s, 20, 20, 22, 22, a few 23-year-olds. You have to keep it simple. Now, as the season progresses and the learning curve starts to go up, then you can start adding things.
Lou Williams for three. That is the fourth three-point hit for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Instant offense off the bench for Doug Collins.
Grant came out on Garnett. Rondo comes up with the rebound. Rondo comes into tonight as the #1 assist guy in the NBA. Good defense by Brand.
Brand over the top with the block shot.
Let's go!
Williams for three. Lou Williams, right out of high school to the NBA, a young guy, and he's been in the league a couple years here now. In fact, 6 to be exact. He's out of Snellville, Georgia. 6 points in 38 seconds.
Really struggled shooting the last 9 ball games. Ray Allen gets one to go. Last 14 ball games, only 9 points on 31% shooting. Tonight, he already has 9 points, 3 of 4 shooting.
I kind of thought spacing was going to be important for Philadelphia tonight as well, didn't it?
Well, it has to be important because when you're going against a great defensive team like the Celtics, if you don't move the ball from side to side, you're just playing right into the wheelhouse, one of the better defensive teams.
Shot clock at 3. Meeks. Watch Lou Williams, who's caught a little bit of wind here.
Fantastic in the pick and roll situation, and really just eyes down the 3 right here and comes up with the steal right here after giving it up to the Sixers and spots behind the 3 for his 3rd three-pointer of the game.
Philadelphia began this season 3-13, the worst record in the NBA, but they have really begun to come together. One of the reasons why on the missed shot, another offensive rebound, Brand after the holiday miss, is that the offensive game is better, certainly. But we've got 10 offensive rebounds for Philadelphia. But Doug has had a chance to find out what these players do well. With the turnover right there for Philadelphia. Here comes Robinson over Iguodala. Robinson hits another three-point shot. Nate Robinson with 6 points in 10 minutes off the Doc Rivers bench.
Robinson doing his best Lou Williams imitation here. As soon as you get the basketball, let it go.
Now we got a little shove inside. Watch this again.
Rare fast break here for the Boston Celtics. Rondo doing a good job finding Nate Robinson in that short corner.
Foul goes on Robinson for the first time. TBS weeknights, Wild and Nocturnal. Catch Conan in his natural habitat on TBS. New episodes of Conan, weeknights at 11:10 Central. Only on TBS. Here is Jody Meeks, who has done so much for this team. Just his movement, his shooting touch, it benefits guys like Iguodala and Brand.
Well, being able to move without the basketball and come off screens, it allows Andre Iguodala to get into the paint and penetrate and finish. And especially when Jody Meeks comes off the side of Elton Brand, it allows that spacing because you have to guard him because he's a three-point shooter. When you dump the ball down, it allows Elton Brand to go to work one-on-one.
Yep, spacing for Iguodala to penetrate the ball. Spacing for Elton Brand in the posts. Meeks gathers up the miss of Kevin Garnett, now 4 of 9. Kevin began 4 of 6. Approaching 3 to play here in the second quarter. Iguodala and Pierce. Rejected by Kevin Garnett with 3 blocks in this game. Robinson ahead to Rondo. Another 3 by Nate. Woo! Holy smokes. Nate Robinson has got it now. 9 points in 11 minutes for the Boston Celtics.
Celtics 4 of 6 from downtown so far in this game.
Three by Williams, guarded by Robinson. Two-time slam dunk champion. Little man in big-time basketball. Rondo with 7 assists already with his 8 points. Shot clock down to 3.
That's when he's unstoppable.
Yep.
And Drew Holiday is doing exactly what the game plan is for the Philadelphia 76ers. Go under the pick and rolls of Rondo and make him show you that he can knock down. See the block shot here. And the fast break opportunities by the Philadelphia 76ers.
10-2 run by Boston here on TNT. Trader.com player comparison. Stockton, what he did in that 89-90 season with Utah, and the numbers this season for Rajon Rondo.
Well, you're wondering if Rondo's going to be able to keep up with the 14 assists like John Stockton did, but you got to understand that John Stockton that year had some unbelievable finishers. Karl Malone, who I believe averaged 30 points that season. Thurl Bailey, who averaged about 17 or 18, so he had some great finishes. I'm not quite sure that 14 assists is going to be able to be held up by Rondo.
Holiday over Robinson. Lou Williams is out. Evan Turner has checked in. Robinson's been hitting his threes. Rondo into Pierce. Nice interior defense by Philadelphia. Here comes Turner.
Decision there by Meeks. Pull the ball out, run some offense.
76ers in this second quarter, shooting 31% with the turnover right there. Rondo, that's 7 turnovers on the Sixers. A 3 by Ray Allen. Ray Allen hits the 3, and Boston is pushing the pedal to the metal here to end this first half.
You had 2 threes this quarter by Dave Robinson, 1 there by Ray Allen.
9 points now for Allen, all in this second quarter. Garnett and Brand. Elton Brand. He's gone 3 of 6 with 8 points and 6 boards. Sixers do have a foul to give. 20-second timeout taken by Doc Rivers. His Celtics have trailed by as many as 6. Moments ago, Doug Collins had his team in the huddle talking about what they needed to do to finish this first half of play.
They're going to try to make a push right now. That's what championship teams do. Into quarters, got to finish quarters strong. All right, so we got to be strong right now. Get strong, all right?
That's what they're doing.
Well, I'm not quite sure if he's saying that that's what championship teams do, referring to the Celtics, or I like if he's saying that's what championship teams do, including my young team. We need to finish quarters strong.
I do believe he was taking that approach.
So I like the approach either way, but I like him already, even though his team is 7-14. You've got to instill winning products and winning themes with your team, and you're instilling, hey, that's what championship teams do. They end quarters well. They're well on their way.
Talking right there with Michael Curry, part of an outstanding assistant coaching staff here in Philadelphia as they change the structure. Nice pass inside. That is a foul. Pierce trying to get free. Paul Pierce picks up his second personal foul. Right, Paul, 1 of 3 with 4 points. With 42 seconds to play, Dan comes back in the game. He had some foul trouble early, and Baby's on there with 3 fouls for Boston. And Garnett's had to play a lot of minutes so far in this first half, 19.
Well, it's really been a stalemate between Paul Pierce, 17 minutes, 1 of 3, 4 points, and Andre Iguodala, 1 of 6 in 19 minutes and only 4 points. I think both guys are exerting a lot of energy towards one another, and it's really their scoring that has suffered.
Quick double on Iguodala. Difference of 5 seconds. Game clock and shot clock winding down the second quarter here in Philadelphia. Sixers do have a foul to give. Rondo with 8 assists already and 10 points.
Coach Collins is yelling at them. They have a foul to give.
There it is. Holiday picks up his second. So now 13.2 to play.
Coach Collins likes wearing that microphone.
Nope. Because he knows the things that are being heard. Talked to Doug tonight for probably a half hour before the game. And
great conversation.
he and his wife Kathy have settled back here. You know, he said it was more than just taking a basketball job in Philadelphia. He said it was a lot more. There's Kathy. You know, she's been with him every step of the way since his early days at Illinois State, right through being the #1 overall pick by this Philadelphia franchise. 4-time All-Star was Doug.
Well, he's so passionate about the game, and that comes through his telecast when he was over here with you, and
I should say,
and as a coach, and being with these young guys, they have responded to him, and that's all you want. And he's teaching the game.
Nocioni in, Rondo. Little pump fake, and Nocioni gets it. Will they get a shot away? They do not. So at the end of one, Philadelphia was on top by 3. The Celtics close out the quarter on a 13-6 run. So at the end of the first half, it's Boston on top by a point. We'll take a break, then take you to Atlanta. You're watching the NBA on TNT. Philadelphia, happy holidays from TNT and the NBA tonight, presented by the United States Marine Corps. Philly had 1, and now we've got Boston at halftime by a single point. Early on, Reggie Miller for the Philadelphia 76ers. Thaddeus Young was terrific.
Well, Thaddeus Young leads the NBA in points in the paint and fast break points for players off the bench, and this gives you a good indication why. Not settling for jump shots on that three-point line. Easily could have hoisted up, but there's a left-handed player who likes to drive left, and here the alley-oop from Lou Williams, and you're wondering how the Boston Celtics stayed in this basketball game. It came from long distance, 5 of 7. Most of these coming in that second period, and it was Nate Robinson off the bench stretching the floor with his three-point shooting, and to cap it off, Ray Allen knocking it down from distance.
All right, now let's take a look at our game summary presented by the A-Team Blu-ray and DVD. It's amazing the fast break points +4 Boston. Second chance points, Philadelphia +9. And you see the shooting of the Celtics, 58%.
You know, we talked about the Sixers wanting to get to the bonus early in every quarter. In that second period, the Sixers got into the penalty with 9 minutes and 30 seconds left of that second period, and they shot only 4 free throws. That'll let you know you have to be aggressive, because especially when you're going against Boston Celtics with that stingy defense they had, every little point counts. You got to be aggressive to get a lot of these touch fouls. It just lets me know the Sixers was settling for a lot of outside shots.
Good stuff, Reg. Let's check over with Craig Sager.
Well, interesting statistics you just showed there was the fast break points that second quarter. Boston 13, Philadelphia 3 for the second quarter. Doc Rivers says we can run. We like to run, especially when I had to go to the smaller lineup with Baby Davis in foul trouble. He said we just don't want the other team to run. And they made 3 of those threes off transition and turnover. So the Celtics do like the pace of the game, and they have taken over the lead.
And just extending what Craig just said, Boston would love to get Philadelphia in a half-court game the entire game. They don't want to see him run.
When you've got players that are 20, 22, 23, and those young legs, it's hard to get them in transition.
Spencer Hawes is back in. A thinner Spencer Hawes, we should say. Maneuvering much better now in his 16 days of training camp because of back injury. Here's Elton Brand with a nice maneuver on Kevin Garnett, who is reaching in and picks up the foul. So that's number 3 on KG. And Elton Brand will be at the line to look at some of the third quarter numbers this season for Philadelphia. It has not been their best quarter, obviously.
Yeah, this has been the death march for the Philadelphia 76ers this third period. And Coach Collins talked about, you know what? I'm going to talk a little bit at halftime, but I want to get you guys out there with 7-8 minutes on the clock so you guys can get a good rhythm and a good warm-up to start this third period, because our problem's been teams jumping down our throat early in that third period, making those deficits that we have to come back from.
You know, we talked to Doug extensively before the game, and he's had a chance the last 7 years to observe the landscape of the NBA. But his son Chris, we know, is the top assistant along with Wojo at Duke, and he said, Doug, I've taken a page from Coach K about things to do on the court, off the court, before the game, out of halftime, things like that.
Well, the page he's really taken from Coach K is delegating, as you see, Erden gets a bucket to go. He's delegated his assistants to do a lot of the day-to-day planning. And you talked about some of the assistants that Coach K has, and Wojo and his son Chris. You know, Michael Curry, who was a fantastic head coach while he was with the Detroit, and Quinn Snyder, Aaron McKee, who played here for the 76ers, as well as Temple.
Oz takes it into Erden. That's what they like to see. Again, here's a kid that was drafted high by the Sacramento Kings and then kind of got lost. He was sent here in a trade in June with Sacramento. And coming in a little bit heavy. They trimmed him down. He's healthy and playing well. The shot clock is down to 5. Meeks trying to stick with Ray Allen. That's a tough thing to do. Ray Allen, whose game lives on the perimeter, puts in his 11th point right there with a great spin move.
Well, especially in the twilight of Ray Allen's career, a lot of his highlights have come from the three-point line, but there, Ray's a pretty good post-up player, posting up on the smaller Jody Meeks, taking the contact, taking the hit, getting to the free throw line.
This Boston team has had to navigate injuries all season. I think that's going to live with them the entire season, probably.
Well, I want to give credit to Doc Rivers. He's not going to use any of these injuries as an excuse. He has a deep roster for a reason.
Iguodala now. Reg has gone only 2 of 8. Paul Pierce has gone 1 of 4. They've been facing each other a lot tonight.
Stalemate.
You're right. He does not use that as an excuse for Boston.
As long as he has the core 3 out there, it's always going to give Boston a chance to go. As Kevin Garnett gets his 5th bucket to go, along with 12 points. Got a healthy Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, you're going to be in every game.
And don't you think the focus for the Celtics, as we see a drive here by Meeks and Erden, knocked away, shot clock at 12. Well, the focus for Boston has got to be maintaining consistency.
Well, you've got to maintain consistency, but you also got to allow for the rest of the guys to come back. Kendrick Perkins probably won't be back till after the All-Star break. Jermaine O'Neal maybe another week or 2. Delonte West probably after the All-Star break.
Meeks. But you saw right there, we told you that Jack is not playing tonight. He played last night, not playing tonight. He's battling sore knees.
Let's talk about Rondo. He's got a sore hamstring, sore knee, plantar fasciitis, and he's still out here playing.
Long 2 by Ray. Holiday with the rebound. Drew. Great looking play, weaving for the deuce. Drew Holiday. What a nice play. They've had to tighten his game, though, a little bit. He can get a little wild.
He's learning the position. And Holiday here, look how long this step is. This play started at the free throw line with the foul. And just one dribble and the continuation, Holiday with the finish. Once he learns how to run a team, I mean, this team is going to take off.
Rondo just picked up his first. 76ers come into tonight 6-4 at home. Told you before, they've won 5 consecutive home games. Overall, 4 of 5. Meeks, Pierce got him on the switch. Shot clock is down to 7. Brand facing a double. Meeks. Out of bounds off Philadelphia. Meeks wasn't even in the thinking process early in the season. I mean, he is just over the last 10 days kind of coming to the consciousness of this team and played the way he's played.
Again, Coach Collins said he's the only real shooting guard we have on our team, a guy that can run off screens, move without the basketball.
Holiday picks up a foul right there. The only 2 on the entire team. That shows you what they got to work with.
Well, also listed as a shooting guard would be Evan Turner, Jason Capona, who's in street clothes tonight. Those guys are shooting guards, but I'm talking about being effective moving without the basketball. It's Jody Meeks.
And away from the ball again. Holiday colliding with Rondo. Holiday will pick up his 4th personal foul. That's going to bring Lewis Williams immediately off the bench. And
I believe Holiday leads all starting point guards when it comes to personal fouls. He's fouled out of quite a few ball games this year.
Lou with the 19-point performance red the other night here Tuesday against Cleveland. I think he's kind of taken something off of what Meeks does, so coming off screens much better.
Yes, well, he would be a shooting guard, but in a point guard's body.
Right. Allen. Hawes just about grabbed it. Ordan inside with the shove. And a foul. Goes on. Celtics to look at Doc Rivers. Again picks up his third personal foul. We know Big Baby's on the bench. He's got 3, and he got them very quickly in the first half.
Well, rebounding, and especially offensive rebounding, really keeping the Sixers in this ball game.
Overall, in rebounding, Philadelphia is plus 10 in rebounding tonight.
I'm wondering, why is this not a shot attempt right here by Andre Iguodala? He didn't pass the basketball afterwards, and he threw the ball up to the rim. This should be 2 shots. This is a nice move here by Andre. He hears the whistle. He's getting ready to pass the ball to Lou Williams. He hears the whistle. Let me just throw it near the rim and see if I can get 2 free throws, and he's rewarded. Smart
Andre
play
at the free throw line, and he is one of the oldest players, certainly the best player, most recognizable player on this Philadelphia team. And you know, it's another new head coach. It's another general. It's a change again. He's seen it all before, and I think it probably took him a little time to buy into these changes, but he has bought in, and his play is reflecting that of late.
Well, not only has he bought in, but these younger guys, the guys that I hate to say this, in their 20s, even though Andre's 26, they look up to Andre. They see him as a mentor, as a teacher. And he's got to accept that role as well as that responsibility.
Nice screen by Pierce, slowed up the defense and gave Rajan the path to the rack. And the 76ers lead is cut down to 1. Celtics have led by as many as 3. Sixers have led by as many as 6.
So this is a very dangerous offensive set here in unit for the Sixers, with Andre playing that point forward. You got 2 scores in the wing position in Williams and Meeks.
Point blank. Now here's Brand with another offensive rebound. Ordan inside. 76ers are plus 10 in second chance points. Look at the drive by Allen, the feed to Ordan, and the foul with Hawes and Brand right there. I think Brand picked up the foul. That's the second on Elton, former college basketball player of the year at Duke, and this will put the Turkish rookie at the free throw line. Here's a look at the upcoming national TV schedule. Lakers, Chicago, Miami, Golden State, NBA TV Monday. Indiana against the Chicago Bulls. That's at 7:30 Eastern time.
My Pacers are currently 6th spot in the Eastern Conference.
I've been watching them.
Lost a tough one last night with that tip-in by Andrew Bogut at the buzzer.
Doc Rivers has a team which is 17-4 coming into tonight. Last season they began 23-5, but they finished 27-27 over the last 54. If you map out what happened then and how to try to avoid that this year, what do you see?
Well, it was injuries.
But they've got injuries this year too.
Yeah, but Paul Pierce went out with that knee injury right around Christmas Day, right around this time. And you know, anytime something big happens to me, they're the big 4 now with Rondo, but originally the big 3. It's tough because Paul Pierce is such an emotional player for them, as Meeks knocks down his 3rd 3 of this game.
Last year, Marquise Daniels had the wrist. Davis had the ankle. Hyperextended knee for KG. Wasn't completely happy with his play. Ray Allen had back spasms. You're right. I mean, they had to navigate that, but they're having to do the same thing again. It's here's Meeks, who puts in another 3. Jody Meeks, the Kentucky Wildcat, knocking him in from outside and giving the 76ers 6 points in 26 minutes.
Now you know why Doug Collins loved this young player. Runs the floor hard, stretches the floor, and knocks down trays.
Just, play smart, take solid open shots, and, let Elton Brand and Andre Iguodala, carry the load.
He played for Billy Gillispie over at Kentucky. And, he's been interesting tonight, going 3 of 3 in 27 minutes, 13 points. He leads the Sixers in scoring.
And tonight his role has been real simple. Just run the floor in transition and spot up for 3-point shots. Usually he's coming off a lot of these back screens, off triple screens, and catching and shooting. But tonight it's all been in transition and in setup plays, just knocking down wide open threes.
Shot clock is down to 7. 6 to play here in the third. Pierce. Picked up by Hawes. 6 rebounds.
We talked about Andre struggling from the field. He does have 7 assists.
Hawes over Ben. Pierce.
Those are the shots that Doug Collins is wanting his bigs to make. Those 15-footers off the down screens.
It's Pierce with the drive. Paul's got 6. The 76ers have been starting out quarters pretty well. First quarter started out 15-9. Tonight starting out 17-10. This third. Spencer Hawes with the shot clock at 5.
Yeah, if you're Spencer Hawes, you've got to get into the body of your den. You can't do these fall-away jump shots. Take it to the body.
And gets it. Now they're running. Rondo, Grand, Lou Williams. Garnett. Rebound number 4. Pierce into Hawes. And a foul called on Spencer, number 2.
Well, I'll tell you the problem with that fast break by the Sixers. In no shape or form should Iguodala give the basketball in the middle to Spencer Hawes, which was almost taken away by Rondo. Luckily, it found the hands of Elton Brand, but that's a terrible fast break for the 76ers. You've got a 4-on-2. You've got to be able to score in situations like that.
There's Paul Pierce, an 84% free throw shooter. TNT Sunday, giving you 3 new leverage episodes in a 2-week event. The all-new leverage 2-week event begins Sunday at 9, 8 o'clock Central. Only on TNT. Paul Pierce, Finals MVP, 6-time All-Star, All-America at the University of Kansas. A couple quiet nights in a row. Last night against the Denver Nuggets and tonight against the 76ers.
A quiet night last night because no Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, absolutely. Carmelo didn't play. Here's Meeks again. Meeks running off screens. Shot clock at 4. Now here's Iguodala, who has to work on Pierce. Jordan collects another miss. Number 3. Davis. Hawes. Lou Williams. Philadelphia has missed 4 in a row. Get back to that third quarter issue. Lack of shooting in the third this season for this 76er ball player.
Well, what did Doug Collins want? Side-to-side ball movement. Offense is coming a little bit stale. Too much dribbling, especially down on the post by the bigs.
It's sticking, isn't it? And that would just drive him crazy when he was sitting next to me. You'd see that and you just go, why don't they move the ball? Meeks now at the free throw line. And look at Doug. We had a real poignant moment here yesterday in Philadelphia, the funeral of Phil Jasner. And if you've followed the NBA for any length of time, you know that Phil Jasner covered the 76ers and the NBA scene here in Philadelphia for decades. He covered Doug Collins when he was first in the league, covered him as a player, covered him as a coach. And he passed away with a lengthy battle with cancer at the age of 68. And Doug was one of the 5 people to speak yesterday at his funeral, which was so big they had to delay the beginning of it an hour and a half because so many people who've respected and read him for so many years wanted to pay their last respects. He had that kind of influence on this great city of Philadelphia. A true professional and a guy sorely missed in our NBA family, Phil Jasner of the Inquirer, and one of the great writers in the NBA for so many years.
Very well respected. Great man. Tells you how many people turned out to delay it.
Here is a 3 by Ray Allen. There was defense by Meeks. And now they come flying the other way with Iguodala running off the misses. Williams with a 3. Lou Williams banging in the triple as the 76ers are going blow to blow, and they've got their biggest lead right now over Boston. Boston.
Fast break point opportunity. You have to get back if you're the Boston Celtics and you want to push if you're the 76ers.
Ray Allen, 5 of 8 with 14. Meeks is 4 of 6. That's a Rondo foul. Working on Williams. That's the third on Rajon Rondo. 2.5 to play in the third. The first place Celtics down by 6.
We have a ball game here, ladies and gentlemen.
For most athletes, and I think parents in general, is that we can't give a kid a chance to grow up and have success in their lives. There's an opportunity to be able to point a kid in the right direction. We want the young kids to make America and the world better, so it definitely is important for us to make sure that we do guide our youth. I'm Ray Allen of the Boston Celtics. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Classy Ray Allen with 14 tonight. His Boston team during this 8-game winning streak has only allowed the opponents 87% or 87 points a game already. Philadelphia's got 78. Rondo just picked up his third. You know they're missing Shaq just a little bit with Lou Williams at the free throw line. And that Kevin Garnett was talking about Shaq saying it's been easier for me this season to play with O'Neal. And I can see why, too. It makes a big difference, a body that size in that lane.
Well, Doc Rivers made his role very clear. Protect the rim, rebound, block shots, and we'll throw you an occasional apple here or there. And he's made it very simple, and he's accepted. You look at what he's done in his numbers, and very limited. I mean, he's one of the better centers in the Eastern Conference.
12 points, 7 rebounds for Shaq. Rondo takes it inside on Hawes with great spin on the ball, and Rajon Rondo has gone for 14 points and 9 assists this game here in Philadelphia. Marquise Daniels is checked back in the game. Thaddeus Young is in for Philadelphia with the turnover right there, number 9 against the 76ers. Approaching 2 to play here in the third.
I think Thaddeus Young thinks he can take Glenn Davis anytime he wants off the dribble. Just lost the basketball.
Davis. That's a travel inside. No, it's an offensive foul. Yeah, I thought maybe a travel. No, it's an offensive foul. That's the 4th foul on Davis.
Look at the move and body control. Look how high he throws it. But look how high he throws it off the glass there. See that English? Right hand English. It's almost like one of those pool shots, billiards. Putting that English on it.
Rajon from Louisville, Kentucky. Iguodala. Daniels quickly going up on him. Shot clock at 4. They do not want to play this way. Nocioni in, missing the 3. One of the things Doug told us before the game is we cannot have our backs up against the shot clock tonight. And sure enough, many possessions tonight, Philadelphia has found themselves exactly in that position.
Well, he calls it butter, and when you're up against the shot clock, especially against the Celtics, who is your go-to guy? Who's the guy that can create his own shot to put the ball in the basket? That's why you want to attack the Celtics early.
Hawes just picked up his 3rd personal foul. Ben is at the line for Boston. You know, the big 3 has never lost as
6-0.
His teammates
6-0
here in Philadelphia. Take a look at some of the numbers in this third period. And those threes really standing out, +9 in the third alone for Philadelphia.
Well, this is something Doug Collins wanted. He wanted his team to get out and start early in third periods. He lets them come out a minute or two than he would normally like, but this is a good third period for the 76ers.
Again, during this 8-game winning streak, only 87 points a game allowed defensively by Boston. Already the 76ers at 80.
He also talks about finishing quarters well. You got to finish this quarter well if you're a 76er.
Lou Williams with Rondo right there defending. Rebound by Glenn Davis, who off the bench tonight has collected 5 rebounds, 8 points, 4 fouls in 13 minutes. No fouls to give either way with 62 seconds to play in the third, and that's a Boston foul. Urdan, number 4 on him. So Davis has got 4 for Doc Rivers' Boston Celtics. Urdan's got 4.
Remember, no Shaq tonight, as we just saw. Street close.
So Kevin Garnett has already played his 26 minutes. And we're not even in the 4th quarter yet. And that's a lot for Kevin through this time of the game. Quick double on Iguodala. Pause. As a switch on defense, and Allen is right there with the rebound by Rondo. Number 4. Young is watching Davis. And he scores with 8 seconds on the shot clock and brings the Celtics to within 2.
For his size, he has good footwork and fantastic body control, Glenn Davis.
Difference of 6.5 seconds. Game clock and shot clock. Williams, pause, Iguodala, a 3. Rondo with time. Celtics again closing this quarter strong. A 3. Good! Oh, what a shot! Rondo hits the triple using glass to give the Celtics a 1-point lead at the end of 3. And Boston closes the 3rd on an 11-0 run. Wonder what Doug Collins would think of that. Our Craig Sager will talk to him when we come back to Philadelphia on TNT. Basketball in Philadelphia tonight is presented by the United States Marine Corps. There's our score moments ago. Our Craig Sager caught up with our former colleague at TNT, Doug Collins.
Well, Doug, you're able to hold your own in that 3rd quarter. I know you weren't happy with that last shot before the buzzer, but how do you close it and finish this game here in the 4th?
Well, we know that the championship teams finish quarter strong, Seg. I think they hit us on a 9-0 run. We actually had some pretty good shots. Noakes had a good look at a 3. I thought we had some good shots. We just got to get some defensive stops. We know they played last night, and if we can get out and run, we think our speed's a factor, but we got to stop them defensively.
Their bigs are in foul trouble. What does that do, and how does that affect your strategy?
Well, you know, when they go small and when they go with Big Baby, we usually match up in there with Thaddeus Young. So, you know, we're going to try to keep attacking like that. That's been a good lineup for us. Hopefully Elton will come back here in the 4th quarter and have a good 4th quarter for us.
Thanks a lot. Now go back over to Kevin and Reggie.
You got it, Shags. 3 of 7. Brand shooting in this game. Nocioni at 3 over Pierce. And Davis collects it inside for rebound number 6.
He's doing a good job of protecting that 3-point line, getting the shooters.
Rondo falling out right there. 76ers have not had a field goal, Reggie, in the last 3.5 minutes. You know, we asked Doug before the game about what is still missing from your team, and he said end of game, 4th quarter, that mentality that you need to put teams away.
Well, and not only that, you've got to have ball players and players that can take over close games like this. And I asked him, well, who do you put, whose hands is the ball in when it's a close game? And he said it's Andre Iguodala. He has to make plays for us.
Ooh, was he hit in the face? He must have been hit in the eye. Big Baby, the former Southeastern Conference Player of the Year. And while he was thrown so well with his team, Pierce leaning into Young. Can't get the foul out of him with a minute gone here in the 4th quarter. Shot clock is down to 6. The quick double on Pierce. Big Baby, Brand knocks it away.
Holiday, you got to run.
Philadelphia's missed 7 in a row. Big shot here by Brand or Nocioni or Holiday. Who's going to take it? Williams into Daniels. Thaddeus Young. Mismatch against Robinson. He exploits it too.
Well, if you're the Celtics, you got to come early, especially when you see the mismatch with Robinson on Thaddeus Young. Young doing a good job of not picking up the offensive foul, trying to back down Nate Robinson.
That breaks a field goal drawn of about 4.5 minutes for Philadelphia. Corkscrewing Davis. He's got 12 in 16 minutes. 7 rebounds. Over Davis, Brand. There he goes. That's what Doug wants.
Yeah, think about before the injuries. I mean, you almost had the double and triple team Elton Brand. And now he's getting single coverage. If he can get back half of his offensive game.
Holiday loses Rondo. I don't know if there's a lot of communication right there. No one seemed to pick him up as he went through. Rondo's got 19.
Well, if you're the Sixers, you can't trade baskets. You're going to have to come up with defensive stops.
Holiday, Young, what a pass by Drew Holiday, who comes up with his 6th assist and 12 points with a nice basket inside. Young off the bench with 14.
And that's part of the vision and learning of the point guard position for Holiday.
Rondo snaps it to Robinson with a 3. He's hit 3 already tonight. As little name Robinson. In fact, he's now 3 of 5. Robinson beyond the arc. Brand. No Sione. Moving it from side to side. Young, that's what they want him to do, is take it right to the rim. But he couldn't convert. Here comes Paul Pierce, 2 of 6. Davis left free to fire. I don't know if the rotations were right on that one.
Well, again, it's Rondo attacking the lane and attacking the paint and sucking in the Sixers defense to make the play.
Rondo with a double-double, 19 points and 12 assists. Davis with 14.
Well, I love Rondo. There's 3 Sixers jerseys around him. You see the ball fake, the extension. Big Baby having a big game for the Celtics.
In Sixers, this rivalry that our colleague Kevin McHale refers to as brotherly hate. In the 60s, it was the famous Havlicek steal followed by Wilt in the 76ers, putting a crimp in the Celtics dynasty in 67. In the 70s and 80s, saw stars like Julius Erving and Larry Bird introduced to the rivalry in a 5-year stretch starting in 1980, where the 2 teams met in the East Finals 4 of 6 years, with each team winning twice. They're not quite there yet, but we have a rising Sixer team and a very established Boston team.
Well, and you need the 76ers to be back very much the same way the Knicks. The Knicks are playing fantastic 6-game winning streak. You need those 2 storied franchises to play well.
And 6 lead changes to start this 4th quarter. Sixers have led by as many as 8. Celtics have led by as many as 3.
Shot clock running down. Coach Collins doesn't want that butter. He wants them to attack the 24-second clock early, not late.
Pierce is 2 of 6. Davis is 6 of 10. Shot clock is at 2 over Brand, whose long arms ricochet that ball to the side, and here comes Drew Holiday.
So now this is where Andre, you heard Charles talking about who is the best player on the Sixers staff. To me, it's got to be Andre. Andre has to take this game over from this point out, because the ball's going to be in Paul Pierce's hands. He's the closer. Andre has to make plays for the 76ers.
Thaddeus Young with 16. 6 have come in this 4th quarter. It's Paul Pierce over Holiday. Paul is 2 of 7.
And he doesn't have to score, Andre Iguodala. He just has to make plays, just like he just did to Thaddeus Young.
Kevin Garnett sets to come back in for the Celtics. Clock once again at 9. They really wanted away by this time, so here he goes. Doubled. Brand, Meeks. His shooting means so much to this team. Jody Meeks, who starts tonight for the 4th time, 4 of 7.
I touched every inch of that rim and didn't go down.
Davis. Daniels. You spoke to the 76ers in preseason, and there was a question that was asked you about what are you thinking when you miss a lot of shots? What's your mentality?
Well, you got to have a short memory, and that came from Evan Turner. He was wondering, all those games and big games you had in series against New York, what were you thinking? And you got to have a short memory in this league. You can't worry about what shot is going on and what your shooting percentage is. You've got to play each possession one by one. And that's something that he is struggling with, is when he misses a shot, he gets down. You can't get down. You got to keep playing.
Turner's only played 6 minutes tonight. He has not become the prominent player that they had hoped he would be.
Shot getting down again.
That's right. We've got 5 to shoot. Holiday with Garnett in the vicinity. That missed everything right there. The Sixers are shooting 43%. The Celtics shooting 57% against Philadelphia.
Sixers are playing right into the wheelhouse of the defensive Boston Celtics.
Here's the struggle. Nate for three. He's missed 2 in a row after starting so well from three-point territory. Quick foul. It goes on Garnett for the 4th time. We take a break in Philadelphia with just under 6 to play on TNT.
This is good. Let's see if this...
Our national doubleheader continues on TNT. Coming up, the Orlando Magic taking on the Portland Trail Blazers with the voice of the NBA, Marv Albert. Alongside Mike Fratello, Steve Kerr, and David Aldridge. Then it's Inside the NBA with the award-winning Inside the NBA with E.J. Kenny and Charles Barkley. I'm looking at this game. Philly leads by 1. They're shooting 43%. Celtics down, shooting 56%. Why in the world do we have those kind of disparaging numbers and a change like we see right now in one team winning?
Second chance points and offensive rebounds. On the season, Philadelphia only averages about 10 offensive rebounds a game. Tonight, 14.
It's Iguodala. Oh, and a tough shot over Paul Pierce.
Finally.
Iguodala with 10 points. He's only 3 of 11. Pierce is 2 of 7.
And remember I said you got to have a short memory as a scorer in this league? You can't worry. If you're Andre, you can't worry about that. Put the ball in my hands and let me finish this game.
Shot clock at 7. Davis steamrolls. Garnett shoved and fouled inside a very congested lane. There's Iguodala's very difficult shot moments ago.
Oh, this is a nice move against Paul Pierce, a pretty good defender off the dribble fadeaway from about 15 feet. We have 11 from the field, 10 points. He does have 9 assists.
Brand just picked up his 3rd personal foul. So offensive rebounding has been a huge story in this game as you're talking about. Allen in the beats. Ray Allen, 16 points.
Almost surprises you when Ray Allen comes off the screen. You think he's going to shoot, but people got to remember he's such a good ball handler. A couple dribbles, he's in the lane.
Well, he is right on Meek's tail right now. Iguodala, that's deflected by Davis. Here is a Holiday 3 and a uncontested rebound for Ray Allen. Pierce into Iguodala. Paul Pierce has got 10.
We talked about, the defined roles of the Boston Celtics. Paul Pierce, the truth, is going to try to close this basketball game.
Rondo with the steal. Garnett with the lead. Allen fouled at the other end by Meeks. And the 76ers with their first turnover in the last 10 minutes of the game.
And Rondo, this is why he is 4th in the league in steals right here. Gets a hand on the basketball, gets on the floor, gets the ball to KG. KG looks ahead to a streaking Ray Allen who gets fouled and is going to the free throw line for 2.
Ray Allen actually may have tipped that ball. Craig, what do you have?
Well, Reggie talked about Paul Pierce being the one that would close the game for the Boston Celtics. Meanwhile, there's that lack of a go-to guy for Philadelphia. But all 5 starters are in double figures tonight. That's the 2nd consecutive game that has happened. So they are coming together as a team. They have 7 players in double figures so far tonight. And
Craig, they got 2 guys with 16 off the bench, too. Young was 16. Williams was 16. And the only player in double figures off the bench for the Celtics, 14 for Davis.
And you know what you're going to get. You talked about that fine wine Bordeaux, the age and experience of the Celtics. Well, those energy drinks that hype you up, this Philadelphia 76ers, which guy is going to be that guy to take it over for them?
Boston on a 6-0 run, under 4 to play here in the 4th. Thaddeus Young. Lost out of bounds, but the shot clock was at 0. As Rondo, it's going to be a shot clock violation. Because Rondo never had it. And Doug is saying, didn't he have the ball?
He's saying pass the basketball, move the ball from side to side. He doesn't want to get the shot clock running down, and then you try to attack this stingy Celtics defense. The shot clock running down with 2 seconds. If you're Thaddeus Young, you got to get that against the backboard.
Nice knock away. It's Boston's ball, 13 seconds to shoot. As you saw Holiday come over there and swipe it.
This has to be a big defensive stop here for the Philadelphia 76ers here. Got to come up with a stop here.
Davis against Brand. And they did. And Brand was there. Doug said he had to play big in this fourth quarter. Meeks with the try. Oh, what a shot by Jody Meeks. And he pulls Philadelphia to within one.
Body control by Jody Meeks, and he shot that with the left hand off the glass.
Garnett the screen. Rondo free to fire. Rondo is 9 of 14, but he's got the double-double with 19 points and 12 assists.
Why not run him off a series of screens? Jody Meeks. See if Ray Allen can stay with him.
That's where he's best. So Ray Allen does so well. Takes one to know one, right?
Yes, it does. Transition. Jody Meeks here. Look at the body control and the left hand off the glass for two. Celtics have won.
A couple hours ago, Reggie Miller gave us these keys for the game. Sixers had the lead 3 at the end of 1. Fast break points, which Philadelphia thought they had to have, has been negated by what Boston has done. So now that takes us to offensive rebounding.
And it's really been the Sixers bigs that have kept them in this game with that offensive rebounding and second shot opportunities.
Shot clock at 5. Meeks, Pierce defends. Card! Jody Meeks has given the 76ers a 2-point lead. 9 lead changes in this fourth quarter. Rondo saved it. Williams threw it against Ray Allen. Or Holiday. Holiday got it against Ray Allen.
I've been asking for this. Why don't you just send them off a few screens? Jody Meeks knocks down the long three with the shot clock running down. Go back to him.
Meeks is 4 of 4. Shooting the 3 ball tonight. Holiday, Iguodala, shot clock at 5. Brand over Davis. Elton Brand has put in 13. The 76ers on a 7-0 run. And Allen takes it inside. Iguodala was reaching in. Andre picks up his second. Dre picks up his second. And this will put Ray Allen, an 87% free throw shooter, at the line for Boston.
And it's a 4-point lead now here for the 76ers. And against the Celtics, you really never feel you're out of it because you know at some point in time they're going to get stops. And they've got great shooters in Ray Allen and Paul Pierce, guys that can create their own shots, and they got pretty good offensive rebounding when it comes to Kevin Garnett and Glenn Davis. So you got a minute 45 left in this ball game. It comes down, there's a lot of possessions for both teams left.
Celtics with 19 points at the free throw line, the 76ers with 18. Holiday. Meeks. The clock at 8. Holiday rejected inside and picked up by Rondo. And here come the Celtics with a chance to tie or take a lead. Pierce is 3 of 8. Doubled by Holiday and Iguodala. Davis, shot clock at 7. Ray for a 3. Card! Ray Allen is put in a triple. He's got 23. And the Celtics go up by 1.
Well, how are you going to leave the one man in the building who has the best jump shot all alone?
Has scored the last 7 points for the Boston Celtics. He's only hit 2 threes tonight, but a huge one right there with the shot clock in single digits, and now 64 seconds to play in regulation.
Well, now it's the flip side for the 76ers. Coach talked about end-of-game mentalities, us trying to win ball games. Whose hands is the ball going to be in? Jody Meeks has made some big shots here in this fourth period. To me, Andre Iguodala has to make something happen.
Rebound 10 lead changes alone in this fourth quarter. Thaddeus Young. Iguodala, 3 of 11. Shot clock at 4. Garnett will defend. What a shot by Iguodala! He's got 12. Sixers by 1. Big baby Tatus, 7 of 14, 16 points. Timeout taken. Celtics by 1. 6 in the fourth quarter by Glenn Davis. What a beauty in Philly. Half minute to play in regulation. He's got a foul to give.
Andre Iguodala, come to the basketball, get it in your hands, and make them dance.
Iguodala. Difference of 2 seconds, game clock and shot clock. Iguodala over Garnett. Rebound by Brand.
That was the foul they had to give. That was the foul that the Celtics had to give. The foul occurred on the rebound from Elton Brand right there. So the foul is on the floor. Ball is side out as the 76ers take a timeout.
Paul Pierce picks up his 3rd foul. Elton Brand with 13 points and 14 rebounds, but of those 14 rebounds, 8 on the offensive glass. Boston by 1.
You would like to get something going to the basket. So if you're Holiday, if you're Iguodala, take the ball to the basket. You know the Celtics defense is going to converge. That's where that scoring opportunity for Meeks or possibly Young can happen. But take the ball to the basket.
Holiday will inbound. Iguodala against Pierce. Philadelphia has captured the lead with 6.6 to play. Andre Iguodala.
You've been wondering who is going to be the go-to man for the 76ers? The new AI, Andre Iguodala with the running hook.
No one is into our house. Pushes us around.
You're wondering what Doc Rivers is drawing up for his Celtics ball club. The ball is going to be in the hands of number 34, the Celtics captain, Paul Pierce. Look for a quick down screen so he can get the basketball up top so he can face the defense down. Now, if you're Doug Collins and the Philadelphia 76ers, and especially Andre Iguodala, long arms help deny, force a long shot.
We saw Rod Thorne moments ago, the president of this team. Doug Collins telling his team to talk on defense. 13 lead changes in the quarter. Garnett will inbound.
And if you're Drew Holiday, you can help off of Rondo on Paul Pierce.
No fouls to give. Garnett for the lead. 1.4 to play. Boston on top. Boston has won. Kevin Garnett's first field goal since 9.5 minutes left in the third quarter. 14 lead changes. Garnett with 14. And the Philadelphia 76ers get their heart broken tonight by the best team in the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics.
It was a misdirection, understanding that the Sixers were going to switch everything. Well, they switched Drew Holiday onto Kevin Garnett. Just throw it to the rim and let KG do the rest.
Final score, Boston 102, Philly 101. The Celtics win their 8th, make it 9th consecutive game. Coming up next, the Magic and the Trailblazers. Reggie Miller, Craig Sager, the rest of our crew. Kevin Harlan saying goodnight from Philadelphia. Right now, let's send you to the voice of the NBA, Marv Albert, in Portland as our doubleheader continues on TNT.